The first thing Arden Cole registered was the sound. Not the usual hum of the station's life support systems, not the quiet beeping of monitors, not even the soft footfalls of guards making their rounds. No, what pulled her from sleep at 0300 hours was snoring. Deep, rumbling snoring that sounded like it belonged in a cave, not on Outpost Kepler. 7. Arden sat up in her bunk, her hand instinctively reaching for the plasma pistol she kept under her pillow. The outpost was humanity's furthest research station in the outer fringe, surrounded by 3 predator species who had recently agreed to a shaky peace treaty. Every human on the station slept with one eye open and a weapon within reach. She crept to her door, which slid open with a whisper. The corridor lights were dimmed to night cycle mode, casting everything in a blue-tinged glow. The snoring was louder now, and it was coming from the guard station at the end of the hall. What she saw made her freeze. Lieutenant Marcus Chun, one of their most vigilant security officers, was slumped in his chair, head tilted back, mouth open, producing snores that would wake the dead. His rifle lay across his lap, and his hand still clutched a half-eaten protein bar. But that wasn't what stopped Arden's heart. Standing around the guard station were 5 of them. Predator cubs. Specifically, Kralix younglings, the offspring of the leonine species whose adults stood 8 feet tall with claws that could tear through steel plating. These cubs were smaller, only reaching Arden's shoulder, but their amber eyes glowed in the dim light, and their fangs were already the size of her fingers. The lead cub noticed her first. Threx, she recognized him immediately. The station's children had named all the cubs during the diplomatic visits, treating them like exotic pets despite repeated warnings from xenobiologists. Threx had distinctive white markings around his eyes that made him look perpetually surprised. Human Arden, Threx said in the clicking, purring language the Kralix used. Thanks to the translator implant behind her ear, it came through as slightly accented but perfectly understandable English. You should be resting. Sleep time is important for your species' health. Arden's grip tightened on her pistol. What did you do to Lieutenant Chun? Threx's ears flicked, an expression of confusion. Did nothing. He was standing, moving, looking tired. Very tired. Dangerous when tired. So we helped him rest. He gestured with a clawed paw toward Chen's peaceful face. See? He is well. You helped him rest. Another cub spoke up, smaller than Threx with darker fur. Yes, we observe that humans on this station do not rest enough. Always walking, always watching, always being afraid. The adult ones of our pack noticed this too. They worry. Arden's mind raced. The peace treaty was only 3 months old. Any incident could shatter it, and finding predator cubs wandering the station while guards mysteriously fell asleep would definitely qualify as an incident. How did you make him sleep? Threx tilted his head. Make? We did not make. We asked him to rest. He said no, he must guard. So we said we would guard instead. He laughed. We showed him we were serious. We have been watching you humans. We know the patrol routes, the security codes, the emergency protocols. We know which sounds are normal and which are danger. His chest puffed with pride. We are good students. Then he still said no. The darker cub continued. So we sang him the resting song. It is what our mothers sing when we cannot sleep. You sang to him. Arden couldn't quite process this. Yes, it is very effective. He fell asleep in 3 verses. Arden took a slow breath, forcing herself to think tactically. If she raised an alarm, armed humans would flood the corridors. The cubs might panic. Things could escalate. But if she didn't report this, how many guards have you helped rest? Threx's tail swished. All of them. The entire night cycle patrol. 14 humans total. They are all sleeping well. Some needed 2 songs. The one called Jackson needed 4 songs and a back rubbing. A back rub. He had much tension in his shoulder muscles. Very unhealthy. This was insane. The entire night shift had been neutralized by well-meaning predator cubs who had apparently appointed themselves as the station's wellness committee. Threx, Arden said carefully, I appreciate your concern, but humans need to maintain security. We have to watch for threats. We are watching, Threx replied simply. We have better night vision, better hearing, better smell. We detected a coolant leak in Section 7 before your sensors did. We found a loose panel in the observation deck that was causing that clicking sound that annoyed everyone. And we discovered that the science human Dr. Yamazaki has been sneaking extra dessert rations, which is why the inventory was incorrect. Arden blinked. You've been busy. We are predators, Threx said, and something in his tone reminded her that these cubs were still dangerous creatures. We excel at observation, at tracking, at noticing what does not belong. But we are also young. The adult ones of our pack taught us that strength without wisdom leads to ruin. They sent us here to learn wisdom from humans. And what have you learned? Threx sat on his haunches, a surprisingly dog-like gesture that looked strange on his feline body. We learned that humans are tired. Always tired. You fled from your homeworld to escape war. You built this station on the edge of nowhere. You made peace with 3 species who could destroy you. And you did this because you are brave, not because you are strong. But bravery costs energy, and you do not rest. The smaller cub nodded. Our adult ones say that humans are admirable but foolish. You treat sleep as weakness. You treat rest as surrender. This is wrong. Even the greatest hunter must sleep, or they become prey. Arden felt something shift in her chest. These cubs, these children of a species humanity had feared just months ago, had seen what the humans themselves had missed. They were running on fumes, all of them. Every human on Outpost Kepler 7 was operating in survival mode, adrenaline and caffeine substituting for actual rest. So you decided to force us to sleep. To give you permission, Threx corrected. You will not give it to yourselves. So we gave it to you. Tonight, and every 3 nights after, we will take the night shift. You will rest. All of you. This is not negotiable. Arden should have argued. Should have explained about chain of command, protocols, interspecies boundaries. Instead, she heard herself ask, what if there's a real emergency? Then we wake you. Obviously, Threx's ears flicked in what she was learning to recognize as amusement. We are not stupid cubs, human Arden. We know the difference between duty and stubbornness. In the silence that followed, another snore erupted from Lieutenant Chun. One of the cubs gently adjusted his head to a more comfortable position. Arden looked at these predator cubs, these children who had somehow seen through humanity's bravado to the exhaustion beneath, and made a decision that would either get her court-martialed or commended. All right, she said, lowering her weapon. You've got the night shift, but I'm staying up with you. Someone needs to write this report, and no one's going to believe it anyway. Threx's fangs showed in what she hoped was a smile. This is acceptable. Would you like some warm milk? The food human left some in the cooling unit. We found that it helps humans sleep, though we do not understand why you drink the lactation fluid of other species. Arden laughed, the sound surprising her. When was the last time she'd actually laughed? Sure, Threx. Warm milk sounds perfect. As she walked with the cubs toward the commissary, Lieutenant Chin's snoring echoing behind them, Arden realized something profound. Humanity had spent so long trying to prove they belonged among the stars, trying to show they were strong enough to survive, that they'd forgotten the most basic truth. Survival wasn't just about strength. Sometimes, it was about knowing when to let someone else take the watch. And sometimes, the most predatory thing you could do was force someone to rest up. By morning, word of the night shift incident had spread through the station. The station commander was furious, the xenobiologists were ecstatic, and the human guards were embarrassed but noticeably more alert. The Kralix elders, when contacted, simply clicked their approval and noted that their young had performed exactly as expected. Threx and his cubs became permanent fixtures on the night shift rotation, 3 times per week. Humans learned to sleep without their weapons. The predators learned that humans, for all their stubbornness, could adapt when properly motivated. And Ardencole learned that sometimes the most alien thing about aliens wasn't their claws or their fangs or their culture. It was their wisdom.